All right, Build Show. I am out here at the Forever Home, and I'm sounding pretty excited, aren't I? That's because I got Mr. Build Show with me.
I love your excitement, dude. You're the best.
This is Matt Risinger.
Risinger. That's how I pronounce it.
Risinger,
yes. Yeah.
No, we like to play around. So, Matt Risinger. We're going to do a quick walk around, and I'm going to bring Matt up to speed. I know everybody's been watching.
It's been an awesome series. I really like how affordable high performance this is.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a multi-million-dollar mansion.
No.
These people are not building a Taj Mahal. They're building a really well-built house. Yeah. And honestly, the budget here is normal, I would call it. Maybe it's not affordable housing.
I mean,
maybe
we're not
this
building
isn't
in
first-time
the Midwest
home
somewhere
builders.
where it's relatively inexpensive for labor. This is New England. We have the highest labor rates here, taxes, and our code requirements are a lot higher. Like, even if we don't want to put in all electric, we have to set up our house as an all electric home, and we can put in gas. But that makes the service, that makes a lot of things go up
for sure
here in New England. So I agree. I think it's a very modest home for New England, but we're still going to get, you know, people that come down on us.
For sure. Man, this is a great job, guys. We're going to give you a quick overview on Forever Home from my point of view, my first time on the job. Let's get going.
Forever Home, a Build Original series, is brought to you by Builders First Source, Baczek Exteriors, Huber Engineered Woods, and Rockwool. Forever Home, a Build Original series.
All right, Steve, where do we start?
We're right at the front of the house. So you can see we have some of our windows going in. A lot of our standard kit of parts here, right? We have a Zip R sheathing.
Yep.
We have Schuco triple glazed windows. Now, these here actually have the wider meeting rail, so they have a little bit more of that New England appearance.
It looks like a double hung, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I like that.
On the street, it's going to look great.
By the way, for anybody watching, this is a tape film that's a protection film. It won't say Schuco all over your windows.
No.
That's going to come off.
Nice white. And then we're going to have some nice lap siding, wood lap siding, very traditional here in New England.
Yep.
And a bunch of the side elevations and rear elevations will be a nice painted shingle.
Steve, I got to mention Shoreline. I suspect maybe a couple of these details are kind of standard for you and for Shoreline, but they're not standard details. Check out how where the front deck, you know, this is a front porch, where that meets the wall, the Shoreline guys told their framer, hey, we need to put a peel and stick underlayment all the way around there for extra forgiveness.
Exactly.
Now, do you have to do that per zip specs? No. But that's excellent forgiveness to be added to the system. The other thing that you got, I stole a sample. What is this, Steve?
That's the deck-to-wall spacer. That's what holds the ledger off so water can drain down.
Yeah, it's like a little super high-density plastic hockey puck with a big hole in the center and a couple smaller holes. And the idea is you put this in fact, let's look at this one over here, Steve. You can see it. You put this in as you're putting your ledger board on. And if you'll notice, my hand can slip in here between the peel and stick underlayment and my deck framing so that water can get down there and won't force its way into the house. Exactly. And you can see that deck spacer right here. And if you look down, there's a carriage bolt or some type of through bolt through this big hole that's ledgering this.
That's what's actually holding the ledger onto the wall.
That's what's structurally holding it.
That's displacing the ledger. We use them on pretty much every job with them now.
What a great little detail.
That's a great little detail.
The other detail, Steve, I had to notice right away. If you look right above this beautiful Baczek fascia right here, look at that awesome kick-out flashing that they did right there.
Yeah. And putting that ice barrier up there from Zip System.
That's right, all the way up the rake.
All the way up the rake. So it's fully protected and we're kicking that water away from the wall.
I really like it. Now, speaking of the Baczek though, Steve, I got to tell you, this is a quintessential New England looking house where you've got all this beautiful white fascia. I believe the soffit's going to be Baczek material as well. Yep. Look at these beautiful rakes over here with, I don't know, what is that, a 1 foot or a 16-inch overhang? Something like that?
Yeah, it's about a 12-inch overhang on those.
I mean, they're absolutely beautiful. They look really, really nice.
Yeah.
I'm curious, did you guys do any kind of mock-ups or anything?
Yeah, we have a mock-up around the corner that we can take a look at. And, you know, while we're going there, we can have a quick chat because I think the mock-ups are really, really important in a sense that, one, it helps the builder figure out exactly what it's going to look like. But two, you need to get the builders or the homeowners to buy in, right? This day and age, you get a lot of clients, they think they know what you're talking about, but they don't know what you're talking about. And so if you build the mock-up and you can bring them out, and in this case it's Glenn and Debbie, you bring them out and say, hey, this is what your roof is going to look like. There's the mock-up.
And now your roof line's down at eye level, so you can really see the details.
Yes.
Looks really nice.
And they put this all together with screws so they can pop this off, and then they have, you know, something to trace if they want. Or if the homeowner said, hey, I didn't like that, can we make this a little deeper or something?
How about that? They put screws in the mock-up rather than trim nails.
Yeah.
What a great idea.
Yeah.
And then also if they wanted to change it because a detail didn't quite look right, they can pop it off with those screws.
But everybody knows, the trim guy knows what's going on. We have the zip system. We have our roof shingles. We have our rake molding under there.
That looks great.
Everything is
You guys
put
using
together.
the zip system rain screen on the
We're
outside
using
of the
the
house?
zip system rain screen. You know, one of the great things about Zip, as you know, they have a full system for everything that we do.
Yeah, they do.
Out here.
It's really nice. If you've not seen this before, this has like a 3D mesh on the backside, which makes sure that when you put a nail through here to nail your clapboards on or whatever you're putting on, now there's an air gap behind there, and those nails that go into the zip system sheathing, there's no way that we can get water forced in with air pressure in because of that air gap that's on there.
Yeah.
Do you know the rough distance on that? Is that a 3/8?
Yeah, it's about 3/8, so about 10 millimeter.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha. Looks amazing. Looks really, really good.
You know, here they did a beautiful job putting this all together, the framer with the roof trusses, and you can see the beautiful AZEK trim. We're going to have the soffits in there, all of the window trim, AZEK exteriors.
Did they use the ice and water barrier up the valleys and at the edges?
Oh yeah, we use it everywhere. Anywhere where we have an intersecting roof to a vertical plane or in the roof valleys, we typically put that in New England.
Okay, I like it.
Welcome to the Forever Home on the inside.
I love it. Looks good,
This is our
man.
front entry here. Everything's still kind of open, and you can start to see it, but you don't see it, right?
Totally.
So it's really cool. Like this. This looks like this giant opening, but it's just a series of pocket doors. So we have 2 pocket doors that come in. This is one of the client's offices here.
Okay.
We're going to have a beautiful coffered ceiling. We're going to have some nice built-ins on the back wall. So we have that. Down this side here, this is actually the mud room. So both the door off of the garage and the front entry both access the mud room. So it's basically shared between both. And the powder room is tucked back there.
And I'm seeing a bunch of ink jetted lumber. I think I know what that is.
Yeah, Builders First Source teamed up with us on this, and we used their ready frame.
Killer. I talked to Ryan, one of the carpenters, earlier, who was telling me this is his very first ready frame job. He'd been framing it for 16 years, never used it before, and it went amazing. He said normally they have a 5 to 6 man crew, and they used a 2 to 3 man crew, and they finished roughly 40-50% sooner on this job.
Man, it is a great system, and there's no sawdust anywhere.
That's true.
Because nothing ever really got cut.
And you don't hear any saws on the job too, and the dumpster was tiny.
The biggest things were like the donut boxes they were throwing out.
Yeah,
is what
pretty
was
awesome.
filling the trash cans.
Steve, you got a big bag of rock wool over here. Let's talk insulation strategy. What's the strategy on the house for insulation?
So we have the insulating sheathing on the outside. For all of the walls on the inside, we're going to be doing an unfaced R21 rock wool bat.
All right, 2 things I want to mention on that. Number 1, I really like R6 as a builder because it's really easy for me and my framers. I don't have to go to a longer nail. My normal nail gun is really easy to frame with that Zip R6. And also, I think the beauty of Huber Zip system is because it's so airtight, we don't have to go to a more expensive insulation like a closed cell spray foam in our walls because our walls are airtight. There's no air leakage through there, which means I can use an unfaced rock wool. It's going to work beautifully in those walls.
Yeah, and because we have such a great air barrier strategy, we don't have to put any vapor retarder on the inside of the wall. The rock wool bat is vapor open. Our wall always has the ability to dry to the inside.
Love it. And we're not going to have any condensation risk because we've got our 6 continuous on the whole house.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
While we're talking insulation, I want to mention this detail that I saw here and on the second floor when I was walking through. You got these pop-ups.
Yep.
And this appears to be a fully airtight ceiling assembly. This is bomber.
Yeah, so this is a single story up to that wall, and then that whole side of the house is 2-story. But because this was 1 story, and this is a giant room. We have the kitchen behind you, the dining room to your left, and then this is the living room. We wanted to kind of create some spaces within the larger space. So the flat ceiling in the kitchen and the kitchen cabinets are going to help define that. Over here, we pushed up into the trusses. One of the things I like about using roof trusses is I can do little depressions in. Like I can push it up 10 inches to this width, and then the framers, they sheathe it and air seal it.
Yeah, I love it.
Just like they do an exterior wall.
And then the thing that I want to mention, because we said it earlier about the affordable high performance, you can blow in some cheap insulation upstairs. It could be fiberglass, it could be cellulose, whatever your flavor is. And that's pretty dang inexpensive.
Exactly.
Because you really thought about these details ahead of time and detailed the ceiling. The thing I want to mention is, Steve, you've got a 2x4 strapping rather than a 1x4. I suspect there's a reason for that.
Well, a 2x4, that gives us that 14.5 inch, or I think it's even less than that, 12.5 inch. I'm not really up to the math right now.
Space on there.
We get a space up there. That gets us a utility space to put recessed lighting, any electrical that we have to run around there. But more importantly, it takes the 2-foot on-center truss system and turns it into a 16-inch on-center system, because we're going to put 22 inches of insulation up there.
Wow.
So, I mean, I would venture a guess in this house, we're probably going to put around 7,000 pounds of insulation in the attic.
Oh my gosh, wow.
So it's going to get spread around and needs to get held up.
Yep.
By shooting these 2x4s into the truss and changing that system and narrowing it, it gives that kind of support.
I love it. And, you know, I climbed up the ladder. I looked up into that truss space upstairs, and I saw a classic Steve Baczek detail that I really like.
Yep.
What you're seeing here is a baffle system to let air flow up. This is a traditional vented roof.
Yep.
But all of his ductwork is inside the air conditioned space, inside the air barrier. He used just a little bit of that expensive closed cell foam to insulate where the raised heel is on the truss. Gives a little bit of air sealing, but really what he's doing is a really high insulation value where it typically is not very high.
Exactly.
And it's also making sure we don't get any wind washing, that those baffles aren't blowing away. And that gives a perfect spot for the insulator to nestle in his 20 inches of blown in whatever. Nice work, dude.
So I know a lot of people, you know, they're out there going, oh my God, R80 attic. Yes, it's 22 inches of insulation, but understand when insulation gets tested, it gets tested in a 6-sided box.
Yep, that's
and
right.
sealed. The attic is the only place where we have one of the sides removed. So we put in 22 inches, but that top 4 inches is kind of a sacrificial layer, because it's going to lose a lot of that heat energy up there. So we're putting in the R80-ish because we really are striving for that R64 mark.
Forgiveness. That's
a little
really
bit
smart.
of forgiveness. So we put a little extra in to get to where we want to get.
Really smart. I never thought about that before.
Yeah.
Speaking of things I haven't thought about before, did Shoreline make a giant job site table? This
I know,
is
it looks
really
like
handy.
it looks like Jim and, you know, hey, let's put in some workbenches, but
Man, I love
this
it.
is them actually mocking up the kitchen for the homeowners. Now, remember, this is a forever home.
Yep.
One of the people that are going to live in this house is in a wheelchair forever.
Yep.
And so the homeowners, they brought the wheelchair over here, and with Jim mocking this up, they're able to maneuver it around and make sure that we have the right spacings between the island and the countertop, between that countertop and the end,
really
the
smart.
doorways, and to make sure that it is in fact going to be that successful home.
You know, I did a similar mock-up of my house and realized, oh my gosh, I don't have enough space in there. And I ended up shrinking my island just a little bit. It was like 6 inches I lost out of it. I did lose a little bit of cabinet space, but I'm so thankful I mocked it up. So really smart idea to mock this up. And by the way, if you're wondering, it took me a second to figure it out too.
It's not a dressing room.
It's not a dressing room. This is a mock-up on the refrigerator. Because the first time I looked at it, I was like, is that for people to change
people
clothes?
change into their work clothes during the
So
day.
countertop dies into fridge, which is right here. It's just giving a rough 3D mock-up of what the kitchen's going to look like. Super smart.
And then one of the really nice things, we talked a little bit about it on the outside, but if we go here and make a hard left,
Okay.
right off the dining room, we find ourselves out into the screened-in porch here. But, you know, this is one of those spaces in New England that a lot of people want. Not everybody can have it in their budget for the project, but I think it's really important. You know, we have winters here, so obviously you can't go outside and eat. So in the summertime, we really value barbecuing,
Right.
sitting outside.
Totally.
So in the summer, this becomes the outside dining room,
Yeah.
the outside sitting room.
Nice.
And we're directly off the living space there, and we have direct access out to the deck.
I want to
should we
point
wanna
out
go
too, there's
outside.
no step down on his design. That's really smart. Not just for wheelchairs, frankly, but I had a house years ago that had a 6 or 8 inch step that I put in for water reasons because I didn't want water to roll in. So I love that design, whether you've got a wheelchair in the house or not.
Yeah.
Really smart, Steve.
Why don't we check out the other side of the house here on the first floor?
Okay, let's keep going.
We're on the side of the house here. We have 2 bedrooms. This is the owner's suite down here. This isn't an over-the-top owner's suite.
That's right.
This is a master bedroom. This thing's probably about 15 foot square.
Yep.
We have a bathroom off here. We have a toilet in its closet. We have about 7 feet of vanity, and we have a shower.
Yeah.
All right.
The other thing I want to mention on that real quick, if you don't mind me cutting in, Steve.
No.
You know, whether you're building a $100,000 budget or a $10 million budget, you see Advantech on the job for a reason. Builders love this subfloor. How long have you guys used that up here in New England?
I mean, probably the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's been 18 for me.
Yeah.
Because I had a major problem with a 1 1/8 plywood job where all the seams swelled, and I had to pay on my very first job I built 20 years ago in Austin to sand all the seams before the hardwood guy came in to lay his hardwoods. And so I searched around and realized this Advantech didn't have that same problem. It was so waterproof. Used it ever since.
You know, one of the things about that ready frame system, the walls went up pretty quick. Means we got a roof on this pretty quick.
Yeah, that's true.
And
that's
so
helpful.
a lot of this stuff is staying out of the weather.
Never got wet.
Yeah.
Another thing about Advantech I really like, by the way, they make their own subfloor adhesive.
Yes.
See the purple tears that are kind of coming around there?
You can see the exaggerated illustration of use.
Yeah, they definitely didn't go light on the Advantech glue in this job. But if you use the Advantech glue, which by the way is an all polyurethane glue, with Advantech, which has a lot of polyurethane adhesive in it, that polyurethane to polyurethane bonds beautifully. You don't need to use screws. You can nail this down, and you've got a squeak-free guarantee from Huber. So this is a bomber subfloor. This is all I use.
Yeah.
I really, really like it. I'm curious what you thought about, or what the framers thought about these trimmable joists. Do you know the brand name on these?
These are Triforce. They're made just north of us in Montreal, Canada, I believe. And they have those trimmable ends there. I mean, most of the framers we work with, and they love them.
Yeah.
Because you get that flexibility for all the utility guys, and you get that one trimmable edge.
It's nice. Interesting note on there, compared to floor trusses that I use a lot that are pretty deep, these are a little shallower. No metal connectors at all. These seem to have some type of a finger joint connection that locks them in with glue. So I don't think there's a problem with metal connectors per se, but there is some slight chance you might have a wire that gets nicked or a plumbing pipe if it's pulled through there and the metal connector.
Electricians love these because there's nothing that their cable is scraping against.
Yeah, and there's nothing they don't have to drill anything. They just run them straight through. Pretty
And
nice.
while we're in here, I mean, you were here a while back when we were installing the windows. We got those Schuco triple glazed UPVC windows.
Man, they're nice.
These are sourced through European Architectural Supply.
They look great.
So
I love it.
just-
Hey, one thing I want to note though, for someone who's not had these, by the way, you don't have your handles on yet. The handle's going to be here. One thing to remember though, when you've got a European style window, there's a handle that's going to come in a decent amount. You can't typically use inset blinds, like an inset blind that would drop in. You're going to have to use an outside mount blind because this is going to open inward, which is beneficial because now I can clean that window from the inside, no problem. I can also vent it from the inside, but know that your blinds are going to change to an outside mount rather than an inside mount blind. Slightly different compared to the push-out casements or the crank casements that we're used to seeing in America.
And if you want to get really fancy, you put the outside blinds in like they do in Europe.
Now we're talking, yeah.
Right.
Those
and
are
that's how they
beautiful.
do it. And I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but that's a door that goes to the outside from the bathroom. But we switched that to a rain glass
That's
for
cool.
privacy.
I like that.
right?
That's
so
nice.
You can see that there's a person on the backside, but you can't really tell.
Because it's kind of going from a bathroom space to an
out
outside.
to that deck space.
Yeah.
So they wanted that privacy.
And that's
glass.
nice too, because then you never have to worry about putting the blinds down or something like that. That's really smart. I like that a lot.
So
That's great, Steve.
that's great.
Good looking project, man. What else do we want to take a look at?
Well, we'll take a walk down the hall here. And so we have our laundry room. Again, not over the top. We have some cabinetry down one side, our washer and dryer, and a little bit more cabinetry on that side, and a small linen closet.
This looks great.
So, I mean, it's enough to satisfy the house.
A little bit of
Does the
light
job.
naturally
We got
in there.
Nice little natural light.
Looks good.
And then everything from here, this is the brothers' side of the house.
Okay, so this is the owner who's going to be in a wheelchair.
Yeah,
He's going to be in
so
here.
he's in a wheelchair. And so a couple of things that we did here that I think are important. You know, we have the bed here. We're going to have a little lift system. So we'll be able to get him out of bed and into the wheelchair and into the shower. Shower, of course, is going to be 0 clearance threshold. You can see the toilet and vanity size. It's kind of an oversized bathroom, so there's some maneuverability in there. But I think one of the things that I think kind of on the human side of things, you know, we have a closet here, and notice it's a lot deeper than it typically would be. We have a little wider door. And so what we're trying to do there is to keep the brother involved in his life. You can basically go in the closet, bring him in with the wheelchair and pick out his clothes
that's awesome.
and stuff and kind of make him feel a part of his day
That's very
rather
cool.
than lay in bed and just go get his clothes for him. You can bring him in and have him pick out his clothes and,
That's great.
and all of that. But,
You know, you mentioned there's a lift going in here, Steve. It's kind of interesting to think, compared to, let's say, 2x10, 2x12 joists, which only have 1.5 inches of meat to screw to, you've got these 2x4s on the flat, so now I got 3.5 inches. So it's going to be relatively easy to mount a lift on the ceiling.
And he's not that big of a, I mean, I think he's something like 140 pounds or something. So it's not
Not a lot of weight.
a whole lot of weight that
It'll be
we're
easy to
talking
install with those floor
Yeah.
trusses.
about. Upstairs here is basically 2 bedrooms plus something you're going to love.
Yeah, I can see it already, Steve. This gets me really excited.
You know?
So this is a detail that you have known about and you've done in
Years and years, yeah.
lifetime ago.
Yep.
But I don't think a lot of people know about this. How do you explain this, Steve?
So downstairs is real easy. We have a full basement under there, clean, dirty. We can put ductwork into the floor system. We can pump it up into that. Second floor becomes a little more complicated.
Yep.
We can run things up through the walls and try to do that. Or we can take the basement and crawl space and flip it on the top side of the building.
I love it.
Now, a lot of people will typically just put their ductwork in the attic outside,
All right.
which is basically like putting it on the other side of the window.
It's real dumb.
It's a dumb idea. But if we put it in the attic, but then we put an air barrier between our ductwork and that insulation and unconditioned attic,
Yep.
it's basically inside the building.
So for somebody who's not done this before and is like, oh my gosh, that'll be so hard. How difficult was it for you to talk the BFS truss guys into doing this recess?
Yeah, we do truss elevations for all of our drawings. So I give them every dimension. And all I say is, build this truss
And it
for
was
us
like a no-brainer for
and
them.
build it 28 times.
Yeah,
And they did that.
it was a no-brainer.
And then you bring it here and you look at the framer and say, you know that sheathing we put on the outside, we're going to do 7/16 in here. Do the 18-inch sides, the top, and the other side, and tape it.
Super smart. So now we've got an airtight lid right here, which also is real rigid too. So as they're working in there with
You can
ducts,
screw ductwork to it
they're
and
not worried about
strapping or
penetrating
whatever.
it.
Yeah.
And now all of our ductwork is basically in the same space that you and I are in, which
Yep.
is air conditioned, heated and cooled, the same humidity. It's not outside, and it's got bunches of insulation on top of it.
Yeah, and the big reason why you do that is, I don't care how good of a mechanical guy you are, your ducts are going to leak. And if I'm paying to put heated or cooled air down that duct, the last thing I want is it to go somewhere where I'm not going to use it.
Right.
I want it to be inside the conditioned space.
Right. Okay, so here's a hard question for you then. We got this big flat ceiling up here. We got this recess for the ducts. I would prefer probably not to have to put an attic hatch
Yep.
in here because it's hard to air seal. Do you go through the gable for a future attic hatch?
no,
do
no,
you
no.
put one in? What do you do?
Come on, buddy.
All right, that's
Come
what I
on
wanna know.
down,
Good,
because
this
you're
is
going to love
good.
this.
This is good. We're gonna find out together live with these guys.
Well, So this is the mechanical room, and this sees it. This is a walk-in closet. So we have a nice finished hatch to that mechanical space, and then we'll have an air-sealed, mechanically sealed hatch to the attic.
It's really smart. I like that, Steve. And that gives you attic access into here if you ever want to inspect, run a flashlight down. Hey, is there ever any condensation in there?
You can snake a line down and then pull a wire or something into that room.
And what is this room here? Is this a closet?
This is a walk-in closet.
Okay,
so
got it.
the fourth occupant of the house, so one of the things that we wanted to give her is not just a bedroom. That room's oversized, so it's a bedroom, a little sitting area. She's gonna have a table up there. So she has a little mini ADU, if you will, upstairs.
I like it. And then this room you're in here is actually the HVAC closet.
This is the HVAC closet, and as you can see, it'll see that trough. We'll cut out some of these 2x4s, and our trunks are gonna go up there and feed that system.
So this is an upflow unit, I'm guessing?
It's upflow unit.
And what do you do for return out of here?
The return can go up in there too.
Oh, okay.
So we can push one over to that side and one over to this side.
Got it.
And we'll just plug it in.
Or if you wanted to, you could make a louvered door or something in here, have a hallway return, do jump ducts or some other version of that, or a low return. There's a bunch of different options.
But we'll just, I mean, it's like 4 rooms. So
what I like about this though, Steve, is this is a few $100 detail to get all of your ducts in the conditioned space. You're not relying on spray foam. It's not expensive. And it's really straightforward to do. I think builders in Texas could do this too. If this was a slab on grade at our feet here, even if this is a 10-foot ceiling, just do a tray in the trusses, frame flat over it, put your ductwork in there, and then do a traditional blown attic.
Yeah, I mean, when I worked for the production home builder in the Southwest, we did, 6,000, 7,000 homes. We pretty much did this detail. We had an upflow unit. It went into some kind of sealed trough that traced around the house, and then we fed the house.
What's old is new again, from 30 years ago to today, and no one's ever seen it before.
Yeah.
I love it.
And down here, we just have another bedroom, another bathroom, a walk-in closet. So like I said, up here, basically 2 bedrooms.
Super smart, man. What a great house.
Last stop, the basement.
Ooh, I like basements. I'm a big fan. I couldn't help but notice though, Steve. Even with 2 very large men, I mean, we each weigh 150 pounds.
Yeah.
No deflection on those stairs.
No, we used LVL stringers. And again, it's one of those things. You can sit there and say, oh, we can use 2x12s, and you can probably save $120 on these. But the last thing I think as a builder, which I think is very important, and what I don't quite get, you get some builders that complain about the cost, and they'll take that $150 out of the budget, do 2x12s. But then you have a client that says, yeah, he's an okay builder. My stairs to the basement are kind of bouncy. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that $150, I get it. You took it out of the budget, but maybe educating your client in a better, stiffer staircase is a better answer than taking the $150 out.
That's right.
Anyways, we have a small little room here. This is one of the offices for the client. But this room here, this is going to be an extra bedroom, which the reason for me talking about it is this is a pre-engineered egress well.
That's nice. I like that.
It's made by Rockwell.
It looks like rock, but it's probably not.
No. And when you put the window in here and close it all up, it'll be great. We have our drain there. That goes down into our perimeter drain and goes to daylight.
Yep.
So we'll take care of that. And all of the steps, those all meet code to climb out of this thing in case of a fire.
That's great. Well, that's a deep window well right there.
It is a deep window well. Well, you got the 10-inch wall, you got the 2-inch space, and then a 3.5-inch. So you got 15.5 inches there.
Is there a magic number for this height here from a code perspective?
You have to be 44 inches to the clear opening.
Gotcha.
So you'd have to build that down a little, but that way there people can get in and out of this in case of a fire.
This looks good, Steve. Well done, sir. What else we got down here in the basement?
Well, we come down here, go into this space. This is a little fitness area, workout space, hangout space. So we have the added light. We have a smaller one, but we don't need the egress window there. But we did choose to go with triple glazed windows for all of our basement windows.
Nice.
Also. And this is the workout space. And then, of course, that takes you into the mechanical space there. I don't like compartmentalized, dirty basements. Mm-hmm. So we have this, you can see we have our radon pipe, we have our sump pump over
pit.
there.
Yep.
So bunch of things happening.
So
But-
this guy in the corner here is your radon pipe
That is our radon pipe.
that's going in from the slab
And it
to
goes
the
up
out.
into the exterior wall.
And if you end up with an elevated radon level, you can add
we
a
can go up
fan
in the
to that.
attic and we can put that fan in up
I
there.
want to mention too, Steve, I'm guessing if I look at these joist bays, this rim board right here, that you're probably going to run that closed cell foam into the rim board
We're
too.
going to run the closed cell up right up to the underside of the floor decking.
Yeah, that's a great use for closed cell foam.
Seal
It's an
that up.
expensive product,
Yep.
high R value, good air sealing. That's a perfect spot to use that closed cell
Yeah.
foam.
And then-
Especially because it'd be hard to insulate with a bat correctly in there.
And then this is that connector to our other utility side of the basement. So in case we ever wanted to run a wire or a plumbing pipe or a water line to the other side, we have access there.
Smart.
We have our ejector pump there
Okay.
that
Yep.
we have to put in because we have a bathroom there. So the toilet, the sink, and the tub all drain to this. And then that lifts it and pumps it up to a height that gets us above the invert.
I like these
for
Liberty
ex-
pumps. This one has space for 2 pumps, so you could have a backup pump. And you could put a backup battery here too. That's like a 12-volt car battery
Yeah.
on charge that would run for a couple hours if the power went out.
Yep.
I've never seen this before, Steve. What's up with the insulated box on the job site
So
here?
this is winter in New England, and we have our water line coming in there. So they put a little insulation. You put an incandescent bulb in there.
You got a little 30-watt bulb or a 100-watt bulb, and it keeps it hot.
Exactly.
That's nice.
And you know, Jim, they put this up. They already insulated in the back with rigid insulation, but this is for our electrical panels.
Oh, okay, smart.
You know,
already pre-painted gray too. Way
already
to go,
pre-painted
Jim.
great.
And what's this giant room?
And so then we come into this massive room here, and this is his workshop. Now, that wall we put in, that was a temporary wall because we had that window lifter
The robot.
upstairs. So we're just stiffening the floor
Gotcha.
to be able to use the machinery upstairs. So,
Is this a walkout basement? Where's this door lead
so
to?
this door here, this takes you up to the garage.
Oh, got it.
You know, we pretty much put those in all of our designs now.
That's smart.
Just because, you know, garages tend to get cluttered, golf clubs,
Mm-hmm.
skis, you know, all that stuff. You put this in, you bring your golf clubs down, you can have a corner of the room here and you can store all this stuff. It's not up in your garage.
And you don't have to take it through the house to put it down in the basement.
And you
too,
don't have
which
to
is
go
really
through the
nice.
house,
This is
right?
great, man. I like this.
you know. And that for his workshop here and wood shop, he can bring all of his materials down, do his stuff, and then carry it up out of here.
I'm jealous, man. We don't have these beautiful basements in Texas very often. This is pretty nice space. This Forever Home series has been a lot of fun. And I want to say at the end of this video too, big thanks to our 4 sponsors on this series. We've got Huber Engineered Woods. We've got AZEK. You saw there's some of their beautiful trim on the outside. We've got Rockwool, and we've got Builders First Source. We've got that Ready Frame package. These are terrific companies that enable you to watch it for free. So big thanks to those companies that care about education, right? And if this is your first episode on this Forever Home series with architect Steve Baczek, go back and watch the other episodes. It's been a really fun house to watch go under construction.
There you have it, folks.
How about we do the signature Matt Reisinger?
There you go.
Even though
I'm
it's your
ready.
video.
I'll keep mine low this time.
Guys, follow Steve Baczek on Instagram, Facebooks, all the things. Otherwise, Steve and I will see you next time
On the Bill Show.